Right. Let me tell you a story. About a week ago, give or take, I was at the gym and I had finished my push workout, I believe. And upon finishing, I went upstairs, got in the locker room, I changed, and then I was running downstairs. I was going to head back to school because I did this, I think, during third period. So there's still one more period to go out of four. And on my way out, I went and asked the front lady at the desk, who, again, I've never talked to in my life, and I was like, hey, do you know how much the barbells weigh? Because my friend Gavin and I have been arguing this for a while. We can't actually decide how much the barbells weigh. And she was like, no, I don't. You want to ask the guy inside? So I went into the main room, and I asked the guy. His name was David. And I asked David, I was like, hey, how much are the barbells? He was like, yeah, they should be Olympic weight. And I was like, so 45? He's like, yeah, 45. And I was like, oh, awesome. So that means I was actually lifting more weight than I thought I was, which was pretty awesome. But and then him and I got in a conversation, just kind of about, our gym going times. David was telling me that like he just kind of started working out, and then he told me about his previous job, prior to working at the school, and then they were talking about like how he's been improving in his gym, and I was like, wow, that's so awesome, man. And we had this really nice conversation. And then I walked off to class, very happy. Why was I happy? Yeah, I just had a workout, but so what? I was sociable. Sociable? What's the word? I wrote it down. Sociable. Yeah. In other words, I was friendly. I was able to communicate. I was able to appreciate other people. I was able to be confident and made friends. Awesome. With the strangers, just like that. Now, why do I have to talk about this? Because the rising generation, my generation and the generation below me, is undeniably, overall, okay, there are outliers. I know some really amazing sociable, it's a weird word, social people, right? People who are outspoken, people who are able to be respected and respect others. But overall, this generation, and especially the upcoming generation, is undeniably disabled socially, without a doubt. And I know that you've probably seen countless videos of people talking about, oh, Gen Alpha is doomed. Yeah, they are. But you know what? I don't need to be I don't need to tell you that. You already know. You already know, like, just how horrible the modern world has treated my generation, and especially Gen Alpha. And I don't need to tell you that. I just need to get across again that the ability to communicate, it has been sapped from us, right? Overall. And I'm not here to tell you, okay, yeah, the world is horrible, we're all gonna die. Bye. No, because that's not helpful. That didn't do anything to you. That just made you sad. And self-improvement is not about being sad. We use sadness as a tool, or anger, but we don't necessarily, we don't want it. Okay, so if it's there, if sadness or anger is there, we're going to utilize it as a tool. We're going to harness it. But we're not going to call it upon us and say, yes, I need to watch as many reject modernity videos and watch a bunch of doomer videos so I can get really sad. And then what? You brought that upon yourself, right? That did nothing to you. So the reason I tell you this is because I am a living example, and so is my younger brother, of how one can simply learn to be a social unit of sorts, right? And I'm definitely working on this, and he's definitely working on this, but we're in it together. We've noticed that in the past, we were very stupid little leeches socially, right? We would cringe when people were very extroverted. Yes, we were younger, so think of a younger kid, and when a younger kid, and when I mean younger, I mean as old as 14, right? When someone is social and very outgoing, a lot of times we would cringe at them. We'd be like, oh, why won't they just shut up? Oh, why are they just... they're stupid. But we were some... nice words only. We were absolute buffoons, right? Very misled, misguided. And so throughout the years, we've been able to kind of, especially these last 2 years, we've seen how just how the well, let me rephrase this. We've been able to see our own faults in how amazing it is to be social. We realize the only reason we hated social people is because we were very sad. And I'm gonna just start referring to me because my brother does what I do. I'm the older one, right? Like that's how younger brothers work. They're gonna kind of do what you do. I was very broken. I was very self-conscious. I was very sour and seedless. If you know what I'm talking about. Um, just impossible to be satisfied, right? Impossible to be happy. So I hated it when other people were able to like kind of be free and confident. And even if they were a little excessive, like that's so much better than being reserved for the sake of, oh, I'm quiet. Why am I quiet? Because I don't know. Insert some sort of stupid, edgy internal conflict, right? Just like some stupid, yeah, guys, I'm having a hard time. Why are you having a hard time? Life's rough. Why is life rough? Don't ask me why, because it is. That was a ninth grade experience. But, anywho. So what have we done about this, right? First of all, there is a lot of street smarts that can be learned. I have a decent level of street smarts, not the best. And I've seen in my brother, this has had to be grown up from the ground, and that's okay because everybody is like, kind of genetically different in that way, and some people just like, I just feel like in the modern day, our weaknesses are amplified. So if you weren't inherently that sociable, it's going to shine through in the modern day. Now, if we still lived in tribes, which, man, if anybody wants to start a tribe, please let me know. Dude, I will grab 30 of like the most high quality people and just go away. Like go do something better than work. Or just not work. I'm going to work. I meant like work in sad places. But anywho, I got completely sidetracked there. But if we still lived in tribes, I feel like the scenario, like the whole social anxiety thing, you would die or figure it out. You know what I mean? Like you would be young too when you'd figure it out. If you were like kind of a more shy kid, you didn't have an option. And eventually you would get to your genetic best. Okay, that actually doesn't make sense. I don't know if genetics have a whole lot to do with this. It's just like a weird brain thing. But you would get to, I guess, you could find your capacity. Now, I guess like people can become as social as they want, right? If there's a will, there's a way. But I do think that some people do feed off of the energy of others more so. I do also believe though that the whole introverted thing, there's no such thing as an introvert if you ask me. There's just a lack of extroversion. There's no such thing as like I am this many points introvert and this many points extrovert. No, it's I am this many points extrovert. And my 2 points, which is really sad and I want to stay inside, or is it a lot of points I'm very confident in myself and I can go talk to people. Nonetheless, that's my philosophy. But I do feel that there are things that can be learned, whether it's through books or through the awesome website that we call youtube.com. I also feel like you can learn simply from observing other people. What do other people do when they're very confident in their... What do the very social kids, not the necessarily cringy kids, because there are the cringy kids who just don't get it and they're social, but they're not sociable because no one likes them. They smell bad. Their teeth are gross. They don't brush their teeth. They drink Mountain Dew and they watch anime. Like, we don't like these guys. They play Roblox and they're in 10th grade. Not to say you can't play Roblox in 10th grade. I mean, like, these guys love like Roblox is their personality. You see what I mean? Like, they're the 5th grade kids in 10th grade, right? We don't like these guys. They're very social because they don't see outside of their very small bubble of life, which is like video games, anime, shows, and bad food, right? They don't see outside of that. But that's okay. We're talking about the real social kids. Like, even the Just think of the confident people, even the like people in student government. Yeah, maybe they're not the most awesome people. I don't know. I don't know who they are, but what do they have that makes them get what they want? Because the whole point of being social is also we communicate so we can get what we want and need, right? And if if you can't communicate, you're handicapped in that case. So you cannot get what you need or want at any given time. It takes too much. It's just extra steps, extra work when you could simply just, hey, I need to know this. Tell me, right? So I have put myself in situations where I have been able to practice being more open in a way. So whenever the idea, and I'm making this more of a habit, whenever the idea comes that I need to approach a random stranger and ask them a question, I'm trying to get more in the habit of just do it, right? Instead of being like, like maybe not. What if they do this? Don't think about what could happen. There's no point. It's another human being, dude. Like, just go ask them. And it could be a simple question too, right? So like I need to know how much the barbell was. I was like, question for you. How much do the barbells weigh? The regular ones, 45 pounds. Okay, awesome. Thank you. And then we had a cool conversation. That was a good example. Like that was a great example actually, because something really fruitful came from that. But it could also simply be like, heck, there was this one kid this one time a couple weeks ago when I went in the bathroom to wash my hands. He took his shirt off because he was like changing or something, and like he had a pretty nice physique. And I was like, "Hey man, the physique looks good." And he's like, "Oh, thank you." And then like today, the same kid walked into the gym restroom when I was in there, and then he said the same thing to me, and I was like, "Oh, thanks, man." See, awesomeness, awesome stuff. But it doesn't have to be necessarily so fruitful. A lot of times, it's simply saying like. It could be adding an extra comment after when the person at the front desk says, "Have a good day." You could say, "Thank you. You too. Have an awesome weekend. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas." Add a little something, right? God bless. Because it just shows thought. Thought is important, and that comes through presence, which is another skill aside. Like, that's a skill that actually kind of needs to be perfected before this, but I thought I mentioned this. So anyways, those are some of my thoughts. Some tips for you, I would suggest breathing deeply. The best conversations I've had with random people and those who I'm close to have been when I was focusing on breathing in my stomach. Sometimes I catch myself getting really excited and like really energetically like nodding at them. And then I'd realize like, whoa, dude, I haven't breathed in a second. So I'd nod, but I close my mouth instead of being like, look like a stupid golden doodle. Freaking hate those guys. But, as I was saying, I close my mouth and like try to make sure like my stomach is expanding, and that is a really important skill. I actually have a video planned. I'll talk about breath work a little bit. I'm not Andrew Huberman, so I'm not certified to talk about this for an extended period of time, but I'll give a little discussion about it. But breath work, being able to just tune in, and breathing from your stomach is one of the most important skills that no one will ever teach you. You got to like teach yourself that, right? That's a skill that like school or parents, somebody ought to teach us. Nobody teaches us because nobody knows. But breathing from the stomach, breathing as deep as you can. That's like, especially as a man, like because just the way our anatomy is, like that is the center of you. That's where like your source of power is, your stomach, your bowels, bosom, or whatever, right? Insert fancy word. And being able to breathe from there, it just gives you a lot of power and, I guess, validity, right? And confidence, honestly. It just really gives you confidence. So that's my first tip. Also, I do have this habit of, like, being very over-energetic and overexcited. So, like, sometimes I'll talk to a new person, I'll nod really fast and be like, oh, yeah, man, that's awesome. That's awesome, dude. And I'm nodding like this. I look like NLE Choppa doing the chicken. And it's just bad habit. I actually started doing that because my friend Yoshi used to do it. If Yoshi, if you're watching this, you're a G, by the way. But Yoshi used to do that kind of like ironically, and then I picked it up. And then during my basketball practices back in 9th and 10th grade, when I was a really anxious neener, I remember I would just do that like kind of impulsively when the coach would be talking to me. I'd be like, because I never said anything, dude. Stupid worm. I wish I knew the stuff I knew now back when I was playing high school basketball. But I remember I'd be like, stop it! Stop nodding like that. So, anywho, it's slowing down. It's slowing down to being able to be like, keep your mouth closed unless you're trying to say words. Breathe through your nose, breathe through your stomach. And open body language. I know everybody says open body language. What's open body language to you? It's just like kind of, sometimes I'll put my hands in my pocket. Or yeah, usually it's like hand in pocket, or like not necessarily cross your, if you're going to cross your arms, it's got to be more of like a open. If you're like this, that's not very like welcoming. But if you're kind of like standing like this, and you're like, yes, shoulders back, that's better. But usually I'll stand with my hands in my pocket because it helps me like kind of stand more like this, and then it helps me breathe bigger, and then I'm standing confidently. So shout out to my friend, my brother Mason. If you're watching this video, I just wanted to say I have admired Mason for one thing that I think I'm trying to get better at. Mason, when we go on hikes, because Mason and I have gone on like a couple of hikes, and every time we go on a hike, no matter who passes us, Mason always says hi. And I think that's so awesome. That's something that unfortunately we are completely missing out on in this world, is people just saying hi. And this is why I will never live in a city, because that's a problem you can't fix. It's just people being busy and unbelievably underwhelmed with their existence, right? Sometimes I wish like a massive problem would happen in the city and everyone would have to evacuate, because they'd have to learn how to be happy. They'd have to leave their garbage confinement cubicles and go out in the world and be like, well, there's people. And then you'd have to say hi. You're not just walking down the street going with your earbuds in like a robot. So, those are my thinkers. But Mason, yes, you're awesome, and I'm trying to get better at that, because again, Mason always just says, hey, and then if someone says, how are you doing? We'll always be like, good, how are you? Good. It's awesome. And I really appreciate that, because Mason understands that nobody should be excluded from human connection. And so he's always ready to acknowledge someone. And I think that's incredible. So you're an absolute G, Mason, if you're watching this. And you, my brother, you should join one of our hikes one of these days, because they're freaking awesome. But I hope you have a great day, and I will see you soon. Make sure to stay sociable. Is it sociable or sociable? I just said the same word twice, didn't I? Sociable? Sociable. I think it's sociable. Okay. You have an awesome day, and give some of those tips I just gave you a try. Peace out.